Hi guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to focus on just one single theme, and that is how to get through to the predominantly right-leaning voters. We need to point out that fundamentally, the very people they think are representing them are treating them like dirt and crapping over them like a flock of pigeons in a loft. We will give you the ammunition. We ask you to share it, download the videos, share them with the people. Don't try and get into an argument, there's no point. So let's go. Now before we get into this, let me just say one thing. Could you please hit the subscribe if you haven't already, bell notification, bells up and all that sort of stuff. It really does help and we're doing our best here. But much though many of us admire the intelligence, knowledge, and certainly the articulation skills of Mr. James O'Brien, we must drop completely this mantra of compassion for the conned and contempt for the conman. That has to be dropped, not because it's wrong, but because it doesn't help fix Jack. Nobody is taking responsibility, and people now have to take responsibility. And it's our position to be able to do that, and with your help we can get the message across. Now later in this video we're going to hear from Farage himself, where he has the audacity to intimate that he would have supported a Norway-style agreement. But the Norway-style agreement has freedom of movement, which is in his grassroots document when he brought it together, brought himself, Katie Hoey, Peter Bone and the former minister Liam Fox with the out means out mantra, okay? Now this clip needs to be circulated to each and every single supporter of this liar. The people don't need to hear argument. They need to hear him say the words that he was in favor of the Norway-style agreement, which meant basically that the fishing industry, the immigration, along with the regulatory alignment would have remained the same. This is the complete opposite to what he's been saying from February the 2016 until last Friday, the 6th of August, 2020. On the 6th of August, 2020, he intimated he was in favor of the Norwegian-style deal. Okay? So we need to get that message out there. Now, the Brexit-loving numpties need to take ownership of the catastrophe that has befallen the UK. For more than 5 years, guys, we've listened to endless stupid rhetoric condemning everything and everybody that has ever uttered a word that criticises any part of the UK, no matter shape or form, government or non-government. The damage it has done to the UK's reputation around the world is honestly, guys, it's simply immeasurable. It's immeasurable right now. These punks, and I refer to the Farage, Taylor, Belfield, Rees-Mogg supporters as punks, have thrown the most incredible insults at people that simply say, I'm proud to be British, but I want to stay in Europe. They have created a toxic division in our society that is going to take years to remedy. It's going to be passed down through generations. I know of few nations in the world, and I've traveled the majority of the world, that can match the patriotism that exists in the very fibre, the very soul of certainly every Brit that I know. Yet my friends have been called traitors, despite some of them having lost loved ones who were at the time defending the innocent and the vulnerable. So enough of this crap. Britain's soul is being lost, and the voice of reason are being just drowned out. And it's wrong. We need to familiarize ourselves with the facts. We need to have the detail. We need to be able to point to the detail every time we're faced with stupidity and ignorance. But we need to be able to pass it, whether it's a WhatsApp message, a Skype message, a Facebook message, and it needs to be, let me show you this, boom, straight away. Now, of course, we cannot expect these numpties to suddenly appreciate the voice of reason from us, or expect them to listen to logical argument as this little point. Actually, there's no point, to be quite frank. But the time is now upon us where we must hit back at every opportunity, not for the sake of argument, but for the sake of the nation, that is undoubtedly slipping further and further to an extreme right political position. And this is going to end badly unless this slide is arrested. There is no centre anymore. The closest thing to centre is probably Labour. And I'm neither a Labour nor a Conservative supporter or a Lib Dem. I would be kind of a Green, but maybe it'd lean more towards the Lib Dem. But there is no kind of centre. Maybe the Lib Dem is a centre. But the Conservatives, they've shifted about 20 degrees to the right in the last 5 years. And it's still turning. It's still turning. And unless we arrest that slide, there's going to be trouble. Now, you may think I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. I wish I was, and I'm going to prove it to you. Let's take a look at this example from Farage, talking about Patel.
And this week, Priti Patel, the Home Secretary, is going to present new legislation before the House of Commons. If you thought, back in 2016, you were voting in the Brexit referendum to take back control of our borders, and if you believe every time the Home Secretary tells us she's getting tough on immigration and putting in place a firm but fair system, if you believe any of that, my advice to you is please don't, and take whatever you hear in the House of Commons this week with a large pinch of salt.
That's talking about Patel. Now, Priti Patel seriously threatened Ireland with a food blockade. Now, apart from displaying her stupidity, she also displayed clearly to what lengths she's willing to travel to achieve her goal, no matter the fallout, okay? And that included blockades, stopping any and all refugee applications, and returning those who've landed as quickly as possible, no matter the consequences to their lives. And he doesn't think she's tough enough on immigration? She's the same person that held high-level meetings in the most volatile place on the planet, i.e. Israel, without the knowledge, let alone the approval, of the Foreign Office, of the PM's office, or even the Ambassador's office in Tel Aviv. She's been accused of and found to be a bully, not once, but twice. So in short, in my opinion, she's just kind of a nasty piece of work, okay? So let's go after Farage and his stance not only on the Norway-style crap, but also on his views on the NHS. Let's remind the people that Farage has openly called the UK to follow the American system of healthcare. He also called for forced labour. And he did call for forced labour, and I have it on video, as well as a number of other things. But let's look at Nigel in action.
And I think we're going to have to move to an insurance-based system of healthcare. Frankly, I would feel more comfortable that my money would return value if I was able to do that through the marketplace of an insurance company than just us trustingly giving 100 billion a year to central government and expecting them to organise the healthcare service from cradle to grave.
Workers' rights. Maternity leave. Well, clearly, if you're not going to be polite, I shan't bother with you. But I'll make this point to you. We all think, when it comes to employment, that we're talking about big companies. And we forget that 60% of people employed in Britain are employed in companies that employ less than 10 staff. And the big problem with employees' rights and protections is that it doesn't just apply to the giant multinationals, it applies to the small firms as well. And I would very much like us to free up the labour market so that Britain's 4.2 small million businesses are no longer afraid to take on school leavers.
That if somebody who is able-bodied and able-minded, and yes, there'll be arguments on definition, but on the general principle, sir, if somebody is able-bodied and able-minded, they should not, after 6 months of receiving benefits, expect to receive those benefits without giving something back to the state in return. And if that means cleaning litter or learning a new trade, that actually, I think, would benefit everybody.
Now, we have to take a leaf out of the Brexit handbook. We have to go after the personalities. There's no point in presenting facts. They won't read them. But if you present video of their own people doing a U-turn, we've got a chance. We need to present this information because people can relate to it. They need to hear what is being said. His supporters need to hear those U-turns. They need to be reminded of them with a single question when you send the video. Why is Nigel changing the story?
Where we are today, it's not perfect with Northern Ireland, with fisheries, but we do actually, to a large degree, have got back the ability to run our lives now, don't we?
Well, I completely disagree.
Right.
I thought that we should have taken the Norway option. I think that was
Well, it was offered
its whole purpose, and I think that
originally, yes.
That's what it has ended up doing.
But we could have gone for the Norway option once we'd had the vote, couldn't we? But we didn't.
We didn't, because the campaign to leave the European Union, which was originally a campaign of people who loved this country and wanted to retain and restore its institutions and independence, was taken over by a bunch of piratical free traders.
He said out means out. Now he's saying, I meant to get a Norway deal. Makes no sense to me. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the flip side.